I thought I was about to watch a scary sci-fi film, but in fact, I was watching a comedy. Yes, you heard it, a comedy film. What's up, everybody? Today I'm here to review the Predator film. I had the chance to watch it, and if you've been around my channel, you've seen that I've been reacting to all the trailers, trying to be very positive about it. But yes, I did get a chance to see it, and it was a utter mess. It was a complete disappointment. And I'm very, very upset because I'm really convinced that we are never going to be able to ever see a great Predator film ever. You know, the last one was the original, and I think it will continue to be the original at least for a very long time. Also, this will be a non-spoiler review and pretty much just my overall thoughts on this film. So here goes. Here's my review. So what can I tell about this film? It was a utter mess. It does pay homage to the original, but the characters are not even an inch as good as the original. They lack in character development. They lack in chemistry, and a lot of the stuff in the film really seemed forced. And the worst part in this film was the humor. I think it was a little bit too much, and it completely ruined the movie for me. You know, it ruined my experience because, look, think about it. If you're really getting killed, hunted by a scary monster, it's really, if you put humor every 5 seconds of the film, you're really breaking the thrill, And man, there's just so many things wrong with this film. I don't even know where to begin. Another thing that is very upsetting is that you look at Predator, it's a very cool character, very exciting character. There's so many good stories you can potentially create, and it's just ruined again because people are just completely not getting what Predator should be about. So this movie, there's absolutely no thrill. There's no sense of run for your life. At the whole time, I couldn't care less about the outcome of the characters. And I think that's a problem. This is supposed to be, you're supposed to have one strong character where you really root for them to do well, and you don't want any of the characters to get killed. But in fact, I was actually rooting for the Predator. I couldn't wait for him to kill everybody else, And the only time I got excited in the film that I thought it was good, it was when the Predator was actually there doing what the Predator does. That part was actually cool. I really enjoyed that. So the movie does have some good actions, like a lot of other films that we see nowadays. The action is not the problem. The problem is pretty much the story and really having engaging characters and people that you really care for, I also think that bringing a kid to this world was not a very good idea. They did try to create some tension, but it was nothing like you look at Aliens, okay, and you see Sigourney Weaver over there, Ripley taking care of that kid. And in that movie, you can really see the thrill and the tension. And when the kid is in danger, you're like, oh my God, you lose your breath. You don't have anything like that in this film because, again, every single moment that was supposed to be scary or have a thrill, it is broken with a stupid joke or just like a cheap gag moment. And I think a lot of the problem nowadays is all the movies, they want to copy Marvel's success. And that's pretty much what this film tried to do, okay? Can you picture Predator, the character, being in a Marvel film? Those are completely different universe, but you can totally tell here that Shane Black, I know he does funny movies, whatever, but this was not supposed to be a Marvel film. It's not a Marvel film. It was supposed to be thrilling. It was supposed to be scary. It was supposed to, put the audience in the edge of their seat, and we don't see any of that because, again, every time a character could potentially be in danger, it is broken with a stupid gag moment and a stupid joke. Now, if you look back at the original Predator, for instance, there is humor in that film, okay? There was nothing wrong with bringing humor into what was supposed to be a serious film, okay? And in the original Predator, the humor usually comes from Shane Black's character, the comic relief. However, if you go back and pay attention in that film, you see that by the time people are getting killed off and, they're really running for their lives, you don't really see the humor there anymore. Why? Because now it's supposed to put the audience in the edge of their seat, oh my God, how are they going to survive? Is anyone going to survive this? And that's what I feel that it was really lacking in this film, okay? Obviously, the original had something that other Predators films will never be able to accomplish, which was the element of surprise. When we are watching the original, we know there's something is hunting them, but we don't know how it looks like. We don't know what can he do or what exactly he wants. We don't know anything about it. And throughout the film, we actually discovers little by little the intentions behind this creature. All the thing that we know is at the very beginning, it is an alien creature because we see a spaceship. But other than that, we are as clueless as the characters. But after that, in all the other films, we already know what the Predator looks like. We already know his the stuff that he can do, And, instead of expanding the universe and doing some really cool things, they try to pay homage to the original things, but they fail miserably, okay? So in this movie, you're going to see a lot of callback to lines from the original. They also bring the original music, so it kind of gets you excited. Oh, the Predator, the original music. But again, this movie, it's not even close to how good the original was. I was shocked at how disappointing it was. And obviously it's within the universe, so they do mention events from other films as well. But again, to me, this was not even worthy to be called a Predator film, okay? The character was pretty much misused, in my opinion. A complete, utter disappointment. I think when you get to the end of the film, it was even worse. I was just so disappointed with the way that they ended this film. I'm so disappointed at the way they start finishing the characters. You look at the characters, a lot of people were just dying, and everything was just so fast. You could barely even notice or even feel anything. It was very hard to engage. Again, a lot of cheap laugh, and everyone in the theater, we were laughing, I actually laughed at some points, but it really breaks the tension that a Predator film should invoke in the audience. I also think that the characters in this film, they were not very likable. They lacked in chemistry, and in fact, I couldn't care less for them. It's completely different than what you see in the original. You see all that group of people, that team, that they're very close together. They have great chemistry, and you really feel for those guys when they start being hunted down by this creature. However, in this movie, like I said a while ago, I was actually rooting for the Predator. It was just like a comedy piece. Let's just see Predator kill people and gore, and that's pretty much it. I do not think that this movie expanded the universe. It didn't bring anything new. Very, very disappointed indeed. As far as pacing, I thought it really suffered in pacing as well. And that has a lot to do with the dumb decisions from a lot of the characters. It was just, yes. And a lot of people have been commenting on my trailer reactions that they had no hopes for this film. And, I like to be hopeful. And I only like to, say my true opinions once I actually get the chance to see the film. But a lot of people were actually right. I thought that this movie definitely not even worth paying to see in the theaters. It's definitely a rental. But like I said, Predator is a very cool character. It's a character that has a lot of potential for really cool stories, for really to be like that thriller that you're on the edge of your seat and you're losing your breath, and you're with the characters every single moment, rooting for them. And unfortunately, this movie does not deliver any of that. Again, absolutely dumb fun. It was entertaining for some part. Now, it wasn't all bad. There were some things that it was cool, specifically scenes. There was one scene with the kid that I thought it was pretty cool. We do get to see a lot of the technology of the Predator and with great visual effects, and that was cool as well. I enjoyed that. Some of the fights were good enough, but other than that, I think this movie does not offer the audience much. To me, I feel like it's a very sad time as far as movie goes, because all my favorite characters have been destroyed, or at least they can't make good movies or storylines that are very awesome, and I don't know why is it so hard. It's just because people get lost on some other universes success and everyone just wants to copy it and think that that's what everybody wants. But I think what everyone is looking for is originality, is creativity, and incredible film. Again, you don't watch a Predator film to go there and laugh at every 5 seconds. You go watch a Predator film because you want to see very cool action scenes. You want to see these characters really running for their lives and trying to really survive this horrible creature. And in this film, they brought in a super predator, like you could tell in the trailers, but it was basically, it didn't do anything for me. It was just a predator that was bigger. Again, because they kept putting so many gag moments and so many cheap comedy, anything that had potential to make the movie kind of scary or kind of like interesting, it just got lost in the way. So yes, definitely a big disappointment. I would even say that this movie, I'll give it a C minus. Definitely a very weak representation of the Predator. There's some things that to me didn't make much sense over there, but you know what, I would love to hear your opinion if you do get the chance to watch this film.